All right. I'm going to get to the next story. Again, it's Labor Day weekend. We talked about teachers striking, and now we're going to talk about nurses striking. And we love nurses just as much as we love teachers. We appreciate them. They are, again, essential workers, and this hurts. And I just hope this can come to a resolution sooner rather than later. But this is what's happening out there because people are literally desperate and being pushed to the brink. So, what's going on? The largest private sector nurses strike in U.S. history is coming to Minnesota. Great.
Minnesota.
Right. Minnesota. Brett Wilkins over at Common Dreams. He's one of the best. Love him to death. Again, we had 2 Common Dreams articles this week because they're fantastic. If you can go over and support Common Dreams, even though they don't go well against the green screen, please do. Common Dreams is one of the best outlets out there, uncorrupted, that's putting out anti-capitalist and lefty news for sure, with a slant against corruption and against both parties. That's where you could find Ralph Nader, and you can find several different. Jeffrey Sachs publishes there. A lot of different excellent uncorrupted writers co-publish, and we'll put their stuff there too. So, what hospital CEOs, like we said, sounds like the school district with $1 million salaries can afford to put patients before profits in our hospital and do right by Minnesota nurses. Yet, not going to happen. All right. So, what's going on here? After a month of fruitless negotiations with their multimillionaire employers over fair contracts, state staffing, and other issues during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, 15,000 nurses at more than a dozen Minnesota hospitals are set to walk off the job later this month in what their union is calling the largest private sector nurses strike in U.S. history. And it may or may not be. The Kaiser Permanente one was pretty big, but they didn't actually do it. They settled. So, like they said, our healthcare and our profession are in crisis. Today's a somber day. Minnesota Nurses Association President Mary Turner said during a Thursday news conference announcing the 3-day strike. It's only a 3-day strike, but it is 3 days without nurses is pretty rough, which is set to start September 12th. So they have time to fix this. Our healthcare and our profession are in crisis. Everywhere in Minnesota, nurses have watched CEOs with $1 million salaries understaff our units, pushing us to do more with less, even before the pandemic hit. Nurses do not take this decision lightly, but we are determined to take a stand at the bargaining table and on the sidewalk if necessary to put patients before profits in our hospitals. Hell yes. So last month, MNA's 15,000 members voted overwhelmingly in favor of a strike after nurses say efforts to negotiate solutions to short staffing, retention, and better patient care failed. And there you go. There's them at a press conference, literally announcing
15,000 Minnesota nurses will strike for 3 days at 15 hospitals in the Twin Cities and Duluth area. You're not going to let me?
Okay, go ahead.
No, it is over. The moment is lost. The moment is lost.
I didn't realize you were reading. I just thought you were just riffing, but okay, I didn't realize you were reading.
No.
Okay, I don't know.
Area and what the union says is the largest private sector nurses strike in U.S. history. Mary Turner, Minnesota Nurses Association president. Oh yeah, you betcha.
I don't. Yeah. Oh yeah, what? You betcha is basically what you heard. But yeah, you're gonna hear right here what she says. The strike's gonna begin on September 12th after the required 10-day notice period. They have to tell the hospital they're gonna do this 10 days in advance. Why? So they can gab up and do all the okay. In effect, 15 hospitals run by many of the state's largest health systems, including Alena Health Partners, Children's Minnesota, Fairview Health Services, North Memorial, Essentia, and St. Luke's Duluth. The nurses are seeking 30% increases to pay and benefits over the next 3 years, a proposal that hospital leaders say is financially impossible after more than 2 years of financial strain during the pandemic. Hospital leaders have countered with raises of about 10% over 3 years, which they say would be the largest raises for nurses in 15 years, except they haven't been getting substantial raises for 15 years. So thanks. Nurses say hospitals are dangerously understaffed, leading to more patient injuries like bed sores and falls. Recent report from Minnesota Department of Health shows adverse health events were up 33% in 2021 for 2020. And last year, nurses filed nearly 8,000 reports of unsafe staffing levels, an increase of 300% from 2014. Let's see. Is capitalism the cause? Corporate healthcare policies in our hospitals have left nurses understaffed and overworked. While all patients are overcharged, local hospitals and services are closed, and executives take home $1 million paychecks, said M&A's first vice president, Chris Rubesh, an RN at Essentia Health in Duluth, in a statement. Quote, nurses have one priority in our hospitals to take care of our patients, he added. And we are determined to fight for fair contracts so nurses can stay at the bedside to provide the quality care our patients deserve. Amen. And you don't see $1 billion nurses. There should be, but I don't see any. So you want to go for this one? This is their representative.
Yes.
Yes.
Throughout the pandemic, nurses have put their lives on the line and still face unprecedented challenges every day. I support Minnesota nurses. They deserve a fair contract.
And my guess is that Rep. Betty McCollum is probably going against some pretty powerful donor interests in this case, but she's made a calculated interest that oh yeah, if she doesn't do it, she may lose her seat. You betcha. So so going against the nurses looks bad, and they put her in an impossible.
Be a doof.
They put her in an impassable position. All right. M&A members also highlighted the pay gap between healthcare executives and nurses. Hey, how about that? For example, M Health Fairview CEO James Hereford's $3.5 million compensation. It's 40 times. It's 40 times that of the average RN at the company's hospitals. While Essentia Health CEO David Herman at nearly $2.7 million makes just a measly 38 times more than the average RN salary at his firm's facilities. Despite the fact that hospital executives continue to earn significant raises on their $1 million salaries, such as Hereford, who took a 90% raise in 2019, M&A said, because he was really jonesing and hurting at that multi-million-dollar salary to begin with. These same CEOs are offering nurses average annual increases of around only 4%, well below the current rate of inflation and climbing cost of living. And again, that's what the teachers just accepted in Columbus, 4% over 3 years per year, right? But there in schools, you don't have millionaire CEOs that are pocketing tons of cash, and it looks terrible. Hospital CEOs with $1 million salaries could afford to put patients before profits in our hospital and to do right by our Minnesota nurses. Now, again, reducing a salary by $1 million or by $1.5 million is not going to cover the cost of a contract to these nurses. And I'm guessing that's the argument. But when you add up the increases to all of the different executives, and then they're going to say, well, that's the going market rate for a top quality executive. Well, we understand, but the pay gap is just insane. I mean, it's unsustainable. So yeah, that's where we're gonna go next. But in the meantime, alrighty. So shout out to everyone over at Camp Dada. Camp Dada is probably still happening out in the Hamptons. If you are able to watch and listen and get any signal whatsoever, I know they had sketchy internet out there, but we love you guys. So proud of you for organizing and putting this thing together. They had a 3-day camping trip out in the Hamptons, and some of the pictures, if you search hashtag Camp Dada, or if you search at Info Change Camp on Twitter, there's also at Camp Dada on Instagram. Again, that was Lucy, Blue Moon Red Wine, the Bank Sisters. There were tons of other people involved in organizing. INN member and of course our creative director Big Mad Crab made a lot of the creative stuff. Other people were also involved as well. Again, support direct action, support organizing, support lefties getting together and having fun and having a good cause. I know they had a burn your debt thing. There was even a way to participate at home. I've been sharing their stuff. I hope everybody goes over, likes it, and shares for sure. You're Brown, welcome. Yeah, I agree that longer strikes would be great. Except again, when you've got school strikes, especially, that puts parents in real problem areas for work. E. Heller, if we gave nurses more money and support, we'll need to cut back on the ICU beds we already undersupply. And right. And how many ICU beds did they say we needed versus how many we have, etc.? Like, it's yeah. We learned all about that at the beginning of the pandemic, didn't we, Ed? All right. What else do we have here? Okay, signs. I still think a week-long general strike during Rig Machine Day, hey, November 7th through 11th, would make a point to our so-called representatives. I kind of like that idea, because it also boycotts and tells people to go shove it for 2022. But we all again, which is that's fine. Again, I'm gonna vote independent, so my vote isn't gonna influence their shit one way or another either way. So more strikes, absolutely. Gear Brown, welcome. Good to see you tonight. Everybody's here. Signs BRB. Okay, good to know that. All right, but yeah, I mean, I think longer strikes too. But again, when you've got nurses in hospitals and hospitals that are already understaffed and nurses spread thin, and now they have no nurses, I mean, hope you're not so. Glad I'm not sick. You know, like doctor,
yeah,
glad I'm not sick. Like that's the whole point of a negotiation is to make sure that you feel that squeeze and that you
have
actually
leverage.
Yes, that's the leverage of.
Right.
All right,
like
so.